Hey, Mike.
Hey,
Hey, you mentioned the bathroom in the master. What was that size you said? I actually missed it.
it's 5 by 8 is a minimum, and then 5 by 10 is ideal. Like I think you had the 5 by 8, you couldn't get to a 5 by 10 because you were in like a row home,
Right. Okay.
which is
Thanks, Mike.
pretty normal for a row home, by the way. So it's pretty normal for that. Like we do a lot of single families, and we've been able to like find a way to get the 5 by 10 in, which can get us the difference in the 5 by 8 and a 5 by 10 is on a 5 by 8. We can get a double vanity in, and on a 5 by 10, we can get a double vanity. A 5 by 8, we can get like a 30-inch vanity. So a lot of people love the double vanity. It's like one of their wish list items. Like, oh, I wish we had a double vanity, so we don't have to fight over the sink. You know,
Thanks, Mike.
men are from Mars, women are from Venus. They don't like when you got your beard shavings in their sink bowl. They just like, keep your stuff to that side. Stay away from me.
Mike, I want to ask you, so we made the plan on the main floor's four-bedroom.
Hmm.
And do you think I still need to make the basement one more bedroom plus the bathroom?
I mean, if you have it, I don't think it would hurt. I mean, it really depends on how hard it is to make a bedroom down there. If it's going to be a lot of money and expensive, then you probably wouldn't need it. But I don't think anyone would complain about having the bedroom. So it's always about, will that bedroom steal from something you really need? So like if I had a bedroom in the basement and it made me have a family room in the basement that was like 10 by 10, I'd be like, no, let me just go ahead and get rid of that bedroom and make a bigger family room. But if I already have a family room that's 12 by 19 or something, and it's a very standard size for a family room in the basement, and then I got this extra space over there that nothing's being done with, I totally probably just go ahead and throw the fifth. Even if it's a legal bedroom, having that fifth utility space that someone could use, you never know. It's not very expensive to do once you're in the rehab, and it might get someone to say, yeah, I'm glad they got that. That's pretty cool. No one's going to complain about having it. It would be my experience. Like no one's going to say, oh, I wish they didn't have that extra bedroom in the basement, and it was unfinished. They're all going to be happy you did it. Especially at your price point, I probably would recommend doing it for sure because I wouldn't miss any opportunity to make your house as great as possible.
Yeah, okay.
So we can just call it a office, right? You don't have to call it a bedroom because I don't want to do the excavation to build the emergency egress,
They have,
Well, yeah, absolutely. You can call it an office if you want. I personally would call it a bedroom, and then whether it's legal or not, and if they give you crap about it, just say, okay, call it an office then, or call it a den. Call it whatever. I don't care what you call it. It's just there. I can tell you that of like the 50 times I've done that, like one or two people have like, I don't know if that's a legal bedroom. And usually I kind of enjoy that because once they tell me that and say I get 3 or 4 offers and then one person's like, yeah, I don't know if that's a legal bedroom. Well, I'm almost like, okay, cool. I'm not taking your offer because you sound like you're a little too much of an egghead. You're all up in the rules, like where I know you're going to be more difficult to deal with. And then the other people are just like, thank you. We love the house and, we love to buy it and do all this cool stuff. So the reality is that, yes, I would go and just list it as a fourth bedroom. If you want to call it an office, fine. I mean, a fifth bedroom, actually, you can call it an office. But people, when they walk through the house, they will enjoy the fact that it's there, that it can be used for whatever. It's just more usable space. That's why I love finishing basements because effectively finishing a basement just adds so much square footage, so much usable square footage to a house. And it's not something everyone can do. It's pretty expensive. For us, it's very affordable to do, but it's very expensive to have like a general contractor come in on a retail basis. Somebody might spend $35,000 finishing a basement, up to like 50. I've seen people pay. We generally can do it for 10 or 12. Very, very affordable.
yeah, the thing is, if we put a bedroom there, then we have put a new bathroom close to the room. I don't
Mhm.
know how much that's going to cost for the bathroom. It's especially in the basement.
Well, you have don't you have a third bathroom anyhow going down there?
Yeah, there's a powder room. It's
Oh,
kind of far from. It's more close to the
it's as far away from the bedroom area as you
bedroom.
can get. And it's a
yeah.
very small little, just tiny sink and toilet.
Yeah, I mean, I would take the tiny sink and tool it and turn it into a full bedroom either way, a full bathroom either way, because it's not a very expensive to do so. And I wouldn't care that it's far away. That's not really, and no one really cares about that in the basement because there's a pretty decent chance no one's going to be actually staying in that room. It's probably going to get used as like an art room or something else. And as long as they My standard is that I have a bathroom on each floor, that I have bedrooms as much as I humanly can. There's been times where I couldn't do it, but if you could make it a full bath, which won't be that much more expensive if you keep it where it is and just extend it a little bit, that'll be pretty affordable. And I wouldn't worry about the fact that it's not like right next to the bedroom. That's not really a big deal, because that bed, like, no one's putting their kids down there in general. It's usually going to be, you know, like I said, maybe a guest comes over or someone's Guitar Hero room or playroom or something.
Right.
Or just a junk room. I've commonly seen that. It just ends up being a place people store junk.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
Hey,
The,
Samara.
we,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Wade. We just finishing up. Let me jump right back. Sorry, Samara. Wade, did you have a question?
yes, we just to say, usually we convert that to a 4 bathroom. The problem is there's furnace stick there, so make it very, very weird. And so I got the AC guy come. He said it's gonna be very expensive to relocate the furnace because they're gonna lay down the pipe, everything.
The chimney and everything.
Yeah, it's gonna be expensive.
Well, let me see the drawing and I'll work on it for you, and I'll try to break through it with you a little bit and see if I can give you some advice, and then we'll go straight to not asking people anymore, you know, because anytime you ask like, hey, what would it cost to do this, it's going to be very expensive. There's your answer. I can tell you it'll be every time. You got to go to like, hey, it's no, you know, but there's usually a solution. Okay. So we'll work on the solution. I'm going to go to Samira next, and then Nancy and Jim, if you have a question, I'll come to you next after that. Samira, do you have a question?
Yes. Question is, I know for my house, I had 4 bathrooms. At any given point, should we be concerned about, like, I guess, the size of the water heater or anything like that as we're adding more bathrooms and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, certainly you need a bigger water heater when you're getting into 4 bathrooms, but that's the standard. I think usually people do like a 40-gallon water heater, and that's usually good for like 3 to 4 bathrooms if you don't have a big jacuzzi tub. So you got a big jacuzzi tub. In my house, I had to be cool, so I put a big jacuzzi tub. I actually put a tankless water heater in because in my old house, I had a jacuzzi tub, and, you know, at one time a year I used it, which was barely ever. You guys probably are having visions of me sitting in my jacuzzi tub, drinking champagne and saying, life is great, you know, everything down and the bubbles and stuff. No, I did that like once a year, just, you know, so I wouldn't be, so I had it, but it would get cold by the time it filled it up because I only had a 40-gallon water heater and it wouldn't be enough to fill it up. So what I learned was if you're going to have a big jacuzzi tub, it takes quite a bit, maybe a tankless water heater. The difference in price of a tankless water heater versus a regular one is the tankless is about $1,000 and a regular water heater is about $400 or $500. So it's like another $500 or $600. But if you're going a little higher end, you're going nice, you could spend that extra few dollars. If you got 4 bathrooms in a house like yours, but you didn't have any jacuzzi tubs or anything, nothing too crazy, maybe like a 60-gallon water heater would be good, you know. But if you only got 40 and they didn't say anything, don't worry about it.
Right. Yeah.
So if it's already there, but if you're buying it, I'd probably buy the right size to fit if you were actually replacing it.
Right. Exactly. That's what I was curious about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you added an extra bathroom too, so that might have been the point of needing, kind of going from 40 to 60.
Right.
But either way, you're all good. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes the inspector will catch that and say, hey, you need a little bigger water heater.
Right. Right.
But it's almost like who's going to be like, how many people are going to be taking showers at one time?
Right.
Like if it was 2, 40 gallons would be enough. Now,
Mhm.
if you got 4 people taking showers all at once, okay, you're gonna need a bigger water heater for that. But that's, you know, it's a very unusual situation.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay,
Thanks.
you're
Mhm.
welcome.
Hey, Mike, just to, I guess, jump on Samara's question, are we using electric water heaters, I guess?
Yeah, whatever you have. If you have gas, you're going to use gas. And if you do not have gas, then you'll use electric. The reason, it's a really good question from Steve, because a lot of times electric water heaters are a little bit cheaper, but the gas, what that's going to do for you, it takes a lot to heat the water up. So if you take and do an electric stove and you do an electric water heater, you might actually have to upgrade your electric panel, because they eat like, I think 30 amps, and most electric panels like 100 to 200 amps. That one device eats 30 just by itself. And if you do a stove, that's another 30. So now, like, if you got a 100 amp panel, you wouldn't be able to support those 2 things because they would be taking up almost all your electric. So if you, most of the time when you see a 100 or 150 amp panel, you're usually going to see like they have gas in the house. So meaning, you know, a 100 amp panel can actually drive a house. Most people like 150 to 200 if they're upgrading, but if you got an older house with a perfectly fine panel and it's 100 amps, it's totally cool, as long as you're not doing electric water heater and electric furnace and all that. Because actually in some houses you can do electric stove, electric furnace, which is called a heat pump, and an electric water heater. That's like about 90 amps just by itself. You totally need 200 amps for that. because that's for a house that doesn't have any gas to it. But if you got gas coming to the house, then I think people usually prefer gas, in my opinion, especially on the stove. Just for the record, on the stove, they love it on the furnace because you know, honestly, like right as cold it's getting right now, when it gets down to 0, a heat pump doesn't work that well. Heat pumps, when you get down under like 20 degrees, they tend to like your house is going to be like 65 degrees. They won't keep you at like 72. If you like it toasty, you're not going to be able to get that toasty on a heat pump. So, but I had a heat pump in my house and it was fine. But when we had that cold spell of like a 0 degrees for a while, there were some times I was walking around like right now, like my jacket on and stuff, like in the middle of my house, man. Like I was out going snowboarding or something. But I don't know. I like it like 70, 72 degrees. I don't like it like it was 61 or 63. It was a little cold for me. And I called my guy and I'm like, what's wrong with the thing? And he's like, oh, it's a heat pump, man. It's like 0 degrees out. It ain't going to get any warmer. He's like, get some socks. It's the way it is. And then we don't get very many long bouts of 0 degree days. But and that's why oil heat, like Samira's house, she actually has oil heat and she has a heat pump, I believe. And so obviously if it ever gets super cold, they could always switch over to using that oil, which would work at any temperature. So, or run both of them even. So they'd have a cool thing of doing that. So you can use heat pumps, you can do all those, but just know they're going to be eating electric. So ideally people love gas. If everything's gas is what they prefer. Electric second and oil is third. Everybody kind of hates oil. The reason they hate oil is because you got to keep filling up that tank, and you know how it works. Anything in life you got to remember to do. You're not going to remember to do it. And then we get the cold week, and it's like, it just got. You walk in your house, and it's like 48 degrees, and then you're like you and like 19,000 other people who forgot to fill up their oil tank are calling, and they're like, yeah, we can't come out for 3 days, and you're just running around like your bird's like frozen, and you know, like it ain't looking good. You're like, why does the bird look so stiff? And everybody's like suffering. We're not used to living in that kind of thing like back in the caveman days. We need heat. So that oil for me is annoying. And I know when I'm selling, I've actually had a lot of people say, yeah, we don't like that it's oil. They've had bad experiences with it. So I usually will, if I have an oil furnace and it's in not usable shape, I always will convert over either gas or electric because I just know that people will give me a complaint. Now, if I got a great working oil furnace there, then I'm totally going to leave it. Obviously, I'm not converting it just because I know a couple people might dislike it, but I will absolutely, if I have an opportunity to swap out, I would make that swap because I've gotten some feedback, right? And I personally have had some bouts with frozen houses, like, because I was like, I don't have any oil? What? Someone didn't just miraculously just come fill it up for me? I thought that's how it worked. Called the company. They're like, yeah, you never called us. What do you think? We're just going to come out and do it for you? I was like, maybe. I don't know. I used to just being done for me. I like automated heating for my house. I don't want to have to call people how do you even know? Like, how do you know if it's filled? Or a flashlight? I never knew, like, if I needed it, I didn't need it. It was kind of annoying. I'm not going to lie. But I've sold many houses with oil, and but I just would never put it in personally if I had a choice.
Question. So, like, when you were referring to putting a fourth bedroom into the basement, I remember your house at George Avenue where you had it against the access out, so it would be considered a legal fourth bedroom. Do you recommend we do that on our flips if that's available?
If it's available, yes, you would want to lean to that as much as possible. Obviously, you got a nice door going out of it, then you have legal egress, and it's a cheap way because it's already there. So you don't have to dig out any windows or do anything crazy. So yeah, if you can design around that and make that work, for sure. If you can't, then I would, do your best. I've had times where I couldn't make it work. It just would have required me moving too much stuff or doing too much crazy things that would have ran the price up. But I do look for that as the first option.